Okay, let's be real for a second. Facing a grade 8 ELA performance task can feel a bit like staring into a black hole. But what if, instead of stressing, you treated it like a high-stakes space mission? In this explainer, we're going to walk through the exact step-by-step thought processes you need to guarantee a successful launch. We'll be looking closely at a sample performance task about women in space, but keep in mind, the strategies we're covering today will apply to whatever topic you end up facing on test day.
Here is our flight plan for this explainer. We're going to break this seemingly massive task down into 5 totally manageable steps. 1. Prepare your digital tools. 2. Understand your mission. 3. Gather your intel. 4. Tackle the research questions. And 5. Write the explanatory article. Let's get right to it.
Step 1. Prepare your digital tools. It's time to gear up for the mission ahead. Before any astronaut launches, they've got to check their gear, right? Well, the official Tools for Teachers and Smarter Balance testing interface is built specifically to help you succeed. Getting familiar with this dashboard right now means you won't be wasting any of that valuable brain power trying to figure out where the buttons are on test day. You're not flying blind here. The system literally has a dashboard designed to back you up. So let's talk about what's actually in your digital toolkit. You've got some incredibly powerful features at your fingertips. The digital notepad is perfect for making quick, on-the-fly notes, and the highlighter is great for color marking your crucial evidence. But honestly, your absolute biggest strategic advantage is the Global Notes tool. Using this constantly to document your thoughts means you're basically building a master cheat sheet that travels with you through the entire exam. Oh, and don't forget you also have expandable passages to make reading easier on your eyes, plus a spell check feature for the open-ended writing, and a mark for review button to flag tricky items you want to circle back to later. Moving right along to step 2, understand your mission. And that means reading the directions first. Listen, this is absolutely crucial. By reading the student directions right away, you instantly know your final objective. In this case, the prompt specifically tells us that your school's science club wants an explanatory article celebrating Women's History Month, specifically focusing on how women have contributed to the study of space. Knowing that completely changes how you read. Instead of trying to memorize every single random fact about the galaxy, your brain is now specifically hunting for how women contributed. Reading the prompt first primes your attention, and it's going to save you an immense amount of time when you actually dive into the texts. All right, step 3, gather your intel. This phase is all about active reading and note-taking. As you dive into your sources, think of it like mentally building a timeline. You're tracking a real progression here. It starts back in 1847, with Maria Mitchell spotting a comet and eventually becoming the first woman astronomy professor at Vassar College. Then we jump to 1921, when Annie Jumpcannon becomes the first woman to receive a doctorate of astronomy degree from Groningen University. And then all the way to 1983, when Sally Ride enters space aboard the Shuttle Challenger and operates the first robotic arm. You aren't just reading isolated facts here. You're actively piecing together a larger story of women making huge leaps in the sciences across very different eras. Now, to really crush this, you have to synthesize. Ask yourself as you're reading, what do these women actually have in common? Keep your global notes open to track those overlapping themes, stuff like career success or a shared dedication to science. Doing this heavy lifting right now, it means your essay is basically going to write itself later. Why? Because whatever you type into your global notes during part 1 of the test carries over automatically to part 2. Talk about a game changer. That brings us to step 4, tackle the research questions. This is where critical thinking and comparing sources really comes into play. When you face a grid question that asks you to compare multiple texts, you have to use deductive reasoning to systematically evaluate those sources. For example, both Sally Ride and Maria Mitchell proved women could succeed in science, right? So that earns a mark in the both column. But you have to look closely at the specifics. Only Mitchell was explicitly known for discovering and recording comet observations through her telescope. On the other hand, Sally Ride advocated for people in the field to be more informed about the true dangers of shuttle operations. The devil's always in the details. You'll also run into questions asking you to identify which source is most relevant to a specific topic. Let's say the question asks, which source would be most relevant to students researching the stars? Well, you need to look back at your notes and ask how each specific detail justifies your choice. Take Annie Jumpcannon, for instance. She specifically created a whole new system to classify stars by color and temperature, categorizing them as O, B, A, F, G, K, and M. She even analyzed nearly 400,000 of them. That exact, highly specific evidence is exactly what the test graders are looking for to justify your answer. And finally, we've reached step 5.
write the explanatory article. It is time for the launch.
By breaking this final writing task down into planning, drafting, and revising, you prevent brain fatigue and manage that cognitive overload. First up, plan. Use those global notes to immediately form a clear thesis, a controlling idea about how women contributed to space study. Next, draft. Your main job here is synthesizing. You're proving you can select the most relevant info from multiple sources and write it in your own words, not just copy off of one text. And finally, revise and edit. Check your notes, fix your transitions to clarify relationships between your ideas, and for sure, run that spell check tool.
You should really think of the scoring rubric as your test day cheat code. The graders are scanning your writing for 3 very specific things. Number 1, organization and purpose. Do you have a clear thesis, a logical progression of ideas, an effective intro and conclusion? Number 2, evidence and elaboration. You absolutely must integrate facts directly from the sources, like Cannon's star classification, Ride's STS-7 mission, or Mitchell's Vassar College teaching, and you have to clearly cite which source they came from. And number 3, conventions. They want clean writing. That means proper grammar, punctuation, capitalization, and spelling.
So, the big question is, are you ready to launch? You've got your digital toolkit. You know how to decode the prompt before you even start reading, and you know exactly how to actively track themes to build an unbreakable essay. The step-by-step strategies we covered in this explainer don't just apply to space. They apply to literally every performance task you will ever take. So, the next time you face a massive research project, ask yourself, are you just reading, or are you strategically gathering intel to launch your absolute best work? Good luck out there.